Hi, I'm Cliff Weldon, and thank you so much for joining me today. And I want to bring you a word of inspiration today and kind of challenge you what you need to do to make more offers to serve and to increase your financial stability. Remember, I talked about being in at 5% of top earners in the country, where 95% are the ones who are working a job, just over broke. But I'm going to teach you some principles of how you can be that top 5% earner in your income. So the question I have for you today, when was the last time you chased your dream? I want you to think about that. When was the last time you chased your dream? Russell Brunson, who is one of the highly skilled guys when it comes to ClickFunnels, is an online entrepreneur website. Russell talks about in his book about the different phases of how to become an expert. First of all, he says, the dreamer, it starts with a spark. So the first step he talks about is that you got to experiment with a ton of stuff. And how do I relate to that? As I thought back, my earlier days, say about 5 years old, I was into records, 45 records, RPMs. And some of you may not know what that is. It's a record with a hole in the middle. Well, I had a record player with a tube in it, a tube, and we're going back to tube things now, where it had one little tube in it. And I wanted to wonder how this thing played on this little plastic thing with grooves on it and made the sound come out of a speaker. So what I did, I took it apart to see what it was made out of and why did it work. And I saw this thing glowing inside. It was a vacuum tube. So from that experiment, now today, my grandchildren, I have two female grandchildren, I have seven altogether. But these two girls, one right now is 4, the other one is 5. And when they were about 3 and 4 years old, they started building things. And they were, stuff I seen them build out of like blocks and magnetic blocks, putting together. I was the one that took apart, but how the vision of them transferred through me for them to start putting things together. So what other things that I experiment with? And I want you to think about this. When I was living in an urban context, I didn't have a chance to go outside, and which I'm grateful for because we lived in a gang infested area in an urban context. So my mom, she made me stay at the house all the time. So I played a lot of records, bought music. I bought the 45 of the week. I had tons and tons of records. So I really fell in love with music. So how did that music dream translate over into the vision God had given me? Well, at 12 years old, I wanted to be in radio. So, and my house, I kind of created my little radio station. I was up in one room and I sent wires down to the speaker and I act like I was on radio. So at 12 years old, went to the local radio station and I spent maybe hours and hours out there. I just sat for maybe 12 hours, just the opportunity to get inside the studio with the DJ and watch him spin the records. Well, that was one experiment. Then another experiment was I went to California for the 11th grade and I stayed with my brother. He was in the military and that was also an influence. And I learned how to play an instrument when I came back home the next year. And it was my final year in high school, but I learned how to play the saxophone because I had the desire to just get that music from inside of me out. And I traveled on the road. We did that for about a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. And we went in Canada and all the East Coast. And we just went all over the place. And then decided to go in the military because I want to experiment with the military. So therefore, my older brother was the example there, experimenting. Wow, so I wanted to see what this was like. So I also in the opportunity to enhance my electronic skills, where I learned to work on military aircraft, navigation systems, communication systems. So I gained skill there, which helped me to get income to help take care of my family later on. And then after that, after the children decided to go, well, hey, let me try something else. I went to mental health counseling. So I got a degree in mental health counseling, got licensed as a licensed therapist in 3 states locally. So that was a dream that was inside of me. So I want to fulfill. So I wanted to chase that dream. So what's going on now? Entrepreneurship. That's what it's all about. It's about experimenting with a ton of stuff. So what did I do? I did a lot of traveling. And I do that now. So we try to travel and see the beautiful creation God has given us here on earth, where he said, I want you to be fruitful and multiply and take advantage of the things that I have given you. So we have been created in the image of God. So the question I ask you today, what are you doing to translate that image God has given and designed you in him? The image, well, I mean, the image he's made you in, his image. How are you transferring that to your cohort, the people that are in your group, the people that are in your life? What are you doing to share the things you need to do to help others get away from the struggles that they're dealing with? What gifts have he given you? Well, I'd like to invite you to join me in the Make More Office Challenge. And through this process, I have learned that I have to challenge myself, just like I've experimented all these different areas. As I challenge myself, it gives me an opportunity to dig deep and find out what things God has given me as a gift that I can offer to others, and how to be wealthy like Solomon. So here's the link, and I want you to take advantage of that, because I'm telling you, it's going to change your life if you're serious about making this move and getting out of the rut and being stuck. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Cliff Weldon, and I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day.